Hello guys and girls, I just did a live video which is related to my weekly show, which is about speaking out live with me about things where people can learn how to voice themselves, or other people could listen to it and maybe support those who need to voice themselves. So in this case, I was talking about 3 reasons why Chicago PD helps heal trauma. And I'm not going to tell you what they are, because if you want to know, you should probably check it out on YouTube. Anyway, this has nothing to do with that live. And this is about the what we call the backstage, which is when you're on StreamYard, you can actually schedule your live. You can see it on both YouTube and on Facebook. And if you're really good at it, you can also get it shown on LinkedIn, but then you have to be a regular when it comes to posting, and you got to have enough contacts. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So she asked me about all the stuff that I should do in order to repurpose, so basically make money from the videos I'm doing. So apart from all the things I've done, so I've used a certain structure, I told her, like, okay, what I need to do right now is I need to record I have to listen to the video, and then I have to edit certain things out. Well, if I would do a live on my own, that would be way much easier, because there would not be any comments, so I wouldn't have to respond to people. And please don't get me wrong, because I love it when people react and when I'm not on my own just talking to the camera. So it provides me with energy, so that's a good thing. But there's the downside, and the downside is that when I really want to get into a certain structure, into a certain story, then, you know, there are things in there which have nothing to do with what I'm talking about, or they might have to do something with what I'm talking about, but, you know, just not really. And so that's why I need to edit it out. And of course, the saying, hello guys and girls, like I'm doing right now, which is okay on a live, is not something you want to do when it comes to a YouTube video. Then you want to get straight to the point. And also with this live, I could have done that too, instead of saying, okay, I just talked about speaking out live with Lady Lexi, which I just did. But anyway, so my friend asked me, okay, so how does this work? And I said, well, you know, I should just really create a how-to video, because people keep asking me. And I was like, well, you know, if I'm going to do that anyway, I might as well just share it on Instagram Live, and then later on use it to record something else with the screen view, so people can actually watch along, and then I just edit it over this live. And of course I have to edit this one first, because it's in a vertical view instead of a horizontal one. So there are a few things. So one of the things I was like, okay, maybe I should tell, like, before I start with the Instagram Live, I always write a few things down. So the top part of this was for my live stream, and the part below is for right now. So I wanted to gather my thoughts and think about what I wanted to do. And then I realized normally I use those 2 lights, but yeah, I have to charge them, so can't use them right now. And then there's also this filter I'm using, so that's what the stars are. You can see it, you know. I really love them, and if everything works out, I'm going to have them tattooed on my face, actually. I'll hear that in a week, I suppose. So if in a week you suddenly see all these stars on there, they will probably be a bit smaller than those are very big ones. Then you know what has happened. So she asked me, okay, so what do you do? So I said, well, basically, I take the video, I edit out all the stuff which I edit in there because it's live and responded not only to you but also to other people. And so that people, when they start watching it, they are really like straight away intrigued with what I'm saying. But then there's the part of, and then it comes to repurposing of the stuff. So while I'm listening, I should probably write down like, oh, this is interesting or that's interesting, and make a reel of it. So lately what I've been doing, when I was editing, I would use those little snippets and I would put them at the back of the video, and then I can easily repurpose them, because then it's, you know, like when I have the video, I just go on my phone and I'll edit it and save it as a new video, and then it's just uploading the whole stuff. So after the editing, of course, the description has to be accurate. So I already wrote something down, so I don't have to change too much, but I had a guest on the show, so some things were added. So I may, as a result, change the description because of it, and I shouldn't wait too long writing down what we talked about, because tomorrow or the day after I'll probably have forgotten it. So that's one of the things I need to do. Like I said, the moment that it's edited, then I can save the audio, or I can basically use the unsaved, the unedited version of the audio. Hi Joyce, to upload the whole thing to a podcast. But then the video itself, I use a specific filter because I like it when things look vintage. So with the vintage, I mean like the Kodak versions where you have the stripes on there and the little dots and all that stuff. Hi there. If you want to join, just let me know. So those are the little things that you can do. So I have a certain look I like to have. So like the stars on there, I also have the vintage filter on there. So lately, I've been doing a lot of shows with other people, and especially when I've done them on Instagram. And like I said, there's it's in a vertical view instead of horizontal. So when I edit it, so it's on YouTube, then what I usually do is I make it available on WeTransfer. Well, that's only free up till 2 gigabytes. So usually that means that I have to chop it up in pieces so they can actually see and get it. And then, of course, the cuts have to really align with one another. So usually I make a copy of the other one. So the cuts are at the same place. So I can basically throw away the first part or the last part or whatever many parts there are. And hi Tanya. Oh, we get all these movement makers in the house, and for me it's actually time to go to get some sleep. So what do? If I have the edit done and I've got the description, of course I need to create that thumbnail with that statement that really gets to someone, like, oh, this is interesting, this is what I want to see. If I post something on Instagram, then I need to pay attention to the text. So you don't have to put text when you use a title on YouTube. Are you still following it? Because, you know, but when you do it on Instagram, you need to use those hashtags. And then there comes the interesting bit. Do you love my graphics? Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't mind teaching you about it, and that's why I'm doing a how-to video right now. And no, I'm not going to talk much about graphics, just a little bit. Yeah, so the thumbnail, and that's when we get to the graphics. There are a lot of programs for it, but the most important thing is it needs to be recognizable. So you need to have a fixed layout. So I do 2 shows a week. One is Speaking Out Live with Lady Lexi, and nowadays with Cheeky Joe. And the other one is with Michael, that's Vocalize So You Rise, and that has a different background. But as as Evan Carmichael has taught us, and for those who don't know who Evan Carmichael is, he's the one who knows all about YouTube. And so if you want to know more about YouTube, either read his book and then get in the Inside Readers group, or go to Movement Makers. Hey, Rosie. All Movement Makers people in here. That's cool. And I'm like, I need to go to sleep. But okay, anyway, I'm going on. So the thumbnail has to be readable, and then you have to, of course, you have to post it to YouTube. So there's one thing like uploading your video to YouTube, but then you also need YouTube Studio. Well, there are people who don't know who Evan Carmichael is. Yes, there are people who don't know who Evan is. So, like, for years, I knew who Brendon Burchard is, and there are still people who don't know who Brendon Burchard is. And then I went to see Brendon Burchard live, and I still don't know which year it is, if it was 2018 or 2019. But anyway, there was Evan Carmichael on the stage, and he was talking about YouTube, and I was like, that guy knows something that I don't know. I need to talk to that guy. So there I was, and back then I was still walking with my crutches. And so I sat down on the floor in the hallway. I remember that very well. And I figured out, because he talked about it, that he also did, he gave salsa lessons. So Joyce, do you know? He's a salsa teacher, and he teaches thousands of people a year salsa. Yeah, Brendon Burchard is amazing. And by the way, he wasn't my first encounter with personal development. He was my first encounter with marketing. And I still have the DVDs from the blueprint, the total product blueprint, which is cool with all the CDs on there. But yeah, I love Brendon. So whenever he's live, I usually travel to the US, and most of the time he does a number of conferences in a couple of weeks, or in a month or 2 months, and then I'll just go from the one place to the next place. So it might be I go from Phoenix to my friends in in Florida, and then I'll go to San Diego, where his next conference is, and then back to Phoenix again. It has happened. I've been traveling for 6 weeks in the US because of Brendon. Anyway, Evan was there, and I said, you know what's on my bucket list? I said on my bucket list is to do dancing again. Hopefully I can do it again. And it was prior to my second surgery, so that probably would have been in 2018. So I said, and then he said, I don't believe in bucket lists. So there he was, and I was standing on one foot and a few toes, and yeah, he danced with me. We did salsa. So that was so amazingly cool. Anyway, I became part of Movement Makers at some point, and I've never regretted it for one day. You know, the moment that I was watching that first live with him, you know, every 2 weeks, 90 minutes, I realized that guy is teaching us something. Yeah, yay! So, yeah, you know, when the partner is good at leading, then my stability isn't an issue. So I need someone who basically can make sure that I don't fall down. But it's good to be dancing. I'm still learning to get my stability back, and of course with it, my stamina back. So I've stopped walking with crutches for about 3 or 4 months ago now. And I've got a brace instead for my knees. That's a whole different story. So I've there is one brace in the making for my right knee, and there is one for my left knee, which I'm not supposed to use all the time, but when it's crowded and I have to quickly move around, that's when I use the brace. So when I do some boxing or other stuff, then I would use my brace. So probably when I would be dancing, I would be using my brace too. So that's funny. So anyway, that's how I got to meet Evan. And yes, I didn't know about Evan before that. So getting back to my story, thumbnail needs to be readable, same background. You don't want to use the same 2 pictures or 1 picture, depending on with how many people you are, but you want to change it accordingly. Yeah, there's a lot to it. And after that, yeah, I'm using my cheat sheet right now. So I should use the video and use the video description, put it on a blog, then go to my email listing and actually get that email out there. Make sure that the people actually can see video. So the little reels and the shorts that I've used, I can actually post them quite easily on my blog, or put them in the email. Send them to the people, and of course I have to remember that, like when I'm doing this live, and like I said in the beginning, I told you that I'm doing 2 shows which have to do with giving people a voice or supporting the people who need a voice. And of course I realized this is a how-to video which has nothing to do with how to voice yourself, but I'm going to say it anyway. For those who really want to know something more about it, I've got a free download which is also based on my ebook. So and so it's linked to a free course, and that's about how to speak out now. Start to speak out now. So those are the things like you want to basically say in the middle of the video and also at the end of the video. So what I usually do is, because I am a champ at forgetting it, so usually what I do say at the end of the video is, okay, if you need help or you need someone to talk to, remember there are hotlines, talk to other people, send me a comment or anything, or come as a guest live on the show. But that part of, okay, but I also have a free downloadable, go to carsicc.com/start speak out now, which of course no one will remember, and they wouldn't know how to spell it, so I would have to make sure that it would be in the description. And then we get back to Instagram, because Instagram is not clickable unless you, of course, have it in the bio. And you can, I think it's clickable in the YouTube description though. So back to YouTube. You've got YouTube and you've got YouTube Studio. And if you want to change the thumbnail, you have to go to YouTube Studio. Well, so if I've uploaded that whole video, then I need to make sure there is an end card there. And if in case you're wondering, like, end card, what the? Okay, so when you see those videos and at the end they refer to other videos and you have those other thumbnails in the thumbnail or in the video, you can actually click on those. And they will refer you to another video. So they could refer to a series of videos, or they could refer to the next live, or whatever it is you want people to see. Well, here's the thing. When you do it on your phone, that's not going to work, because the YouTube app doesn't allow you to either work with subtitles or work with the end card. So usually I go to my iPad, not to use the YouTube app, but to actually go to Safari, to the website, and then just put it on there. And I'm practically married to my iPad and my iPhone. I've got a laptop. I hardly ever use it. I just take everything with me in a backpack, including a simple, normal notebook and pencil and paper. And I write everything on there. So once I've uploaded it to YouTube Studio, then of course I can make sure that the subtitles are already there if I do it on a web page. The cool thing about that part is that you actually can use the transcription. So you can save it, and on the timeline it says when what is said. And here's the thing. I have this habit of starting my video with, well, hello. And then YouTube thinks, oh, what? She's Dutch, right? So this must be Dutch. So if I just say, hello, guys and girls, then it's all right. But if I start with, well, hello, then... And then he tries to put everything in Dutch, and of course it's in English. So it's really funny what I end up with. But so I've learned to make sure that I start it differently. So after the uploading to YouTube, of course, I can use that text literally. Yeah, I know. Joyce. I can literally upload the whole text to my blog and to the email. So it depends on which order I want to do which thing. And then, yeah, I should probably have done all the things. So when I was talking, and to Mary, I said, like, okay, right now, for instance, it's 4 o'clock at night. It's almost 4:30. And I'm like, okay, I need to get some sleep because I would like to get up not much later than noon tomorrow. But, you know, especially when I've done the live, I'm still in this energy and there's so much going on in my mind that I'm probably not going to sleep for like hours, especially now I'm talking to you guys and I'm just going, oh, no. So my mind is working full speed. That's the problem of being a night owl. So the good thing is I can instantly raise my energy when I want to. The not so good thing is I have to get it back down again. And so I do not intend yeah, thank you, Tanya. So I do intend to get some sleep because I do have an appointment, I think at 1 PM tomorrow. But I also had to make some mental notes. Yeah, Joyce, I was thinking you would be a night owl too. That's cool. Yeah, I need to sometimes call off. That's true. And unfortunately, I have this totally not so good habit to do it either with watching some Netflix or I can do some Spanish lessons. Yes, Tanya, that's where the Spanish lessons come into play. And usually that will make me fall asleep. So that's the good thing about the Spanish lessons. You know, at some point I'm looking at my screen like, I was supposed to translate something and say it out loud. That's Duolingo, the app. And then it's like, but I didn't. And then, oh yeah, hang on. And then the next, and then I start making all these arrows. Gracias, muchas gracias. And you know, it's those simple things between I need to and I want to or I have to, and that's when I start making the instead of that or whatever it is. And then of course every time it's wrong and I'm like, what? I spelled it right, and it's not even the difficult stuff. And for me, there are a lot of difficult things in Spanish, like the, you know, when you have the verb, the subject is already in there. So Tanya knows what I'm talking about. So I can say hablo as in I speak, which is just a verb, or I can say yo hablo. And of course, I don't know if I pronounce it well. I try to do the best I can. So which is I speak. But then, and now I don't know if I'm correct, but if you want to emphasize that it's me, then if correct, I would be able to say a mí yo hablo. Or it's just when it comes to the verbs like gustar, so I like, or the one which is about I love, which I normally know, but you know, I'm a little bit foggy right now. Me encanta, so encantar. So that's when you have, when you can emphasize by putting a mí, a ti, les à nos, all that stuff in front of it. And I'm still learning all that stuff, so I'm like, okay, when is it T? When is it T? And when is it? Yeah, all that stuff. Okay, so that's what I need to do in order to fall asleep. But I was like, okay, if I at least record this right now, then I have my structure. Oh, gracias por hacer el esfuerzo de estudiar mi idioma. Well, I'm not sure if I see it, I can understand it correctly, but if correct, you're thanking me for studying your language. And I just love the Spanish. So, and it's, most people can either talk English or they can talk Spanish. Well, that's not true, because the Germans don't speak English, or a little bit, and they only speak German, but I can speak German. The same applies to the French, but Spanish is more spoken than German or French is. So, and of course I speak Dutch, because that's what we speak in the Netherlands. Unless you're talking to me and I'm doing a live video, then, the moment that I look into a camera, even when I'm talking to Dutch friends, I instantly switch to English mode. So that's the way it works. So tomorrow, what I need to do is edit the whole stuff, still know what I'm talking about. So that's, hence why I need to, write down a little bit about the description. So what I was talking about, I had Mary on the show as a guest. So we talked about some other stuff than just the Chicago PD and trauma. We talked about trauma in general and about grieving and all that other stuff. And now I just shared what I said. You need to watch it on YouTube. Say something in Dutch. I want to hear it, and then tell me what you said. Zeg eens iets in het Nederlands, want ik wil horen, het horen en dan vertel me wat je hebt gezegd. Hartje en handen bij elkaar. Well, I literally translated what you just wrote down. Say something in Dutch. I want to hear it and then tell me what you said. So, does that work for you, Joyce? So, yeah, I'm thinking, what did I forget? Well, and that's the whole thing. It's like somewhere in between what I'm doing, and usually what I do during the day. There's part of it for me is health-wise related. So like physical therapy. It's beautiful. Oh, you're welcome. And beautiful is mooi. So, bonito, beautiful, mooi. So then we have Tanya too in there. And I also have to do some coaching. Now, I don't expect to be doing some coaching tomorrow because I've been doing a lot of coaching with my clients today. So that's a good thing. But of course, we have Zen tomorrow with the Insider Readers group. And and I skipped Brandon Burchard today or yesterday, depending on how you want to look at it. So I still need to rewatch that one. So that's probably all I have to do. So if it's still good weather, and I just heard it was raining, and it hasn't rained in weeks, then I might go sit outside, have something to drink, and work a little on what I want to do. And so I told Mary, I'm the person who basically gets my phone, gets my iPad, or just my phone, and I'll start editing right away on my phone. So like last Monday was good weather, which is not that common over here in the Netherlands. I decided to go sit on the terrace, and I started to have a conversation with Michael, like, okay, what do we want to discuss today in Vocalize So You Rise? So he already had asked me if I had some topics, and I didn't. But now I was sitting down, I was having a salad, and pouring rain and tornado warning here. Joyce, where are you located? And pouring rain and tornado warning here. Het regent dat het giet. Regen is rain. Pouring is that it's coming down. So pouring, why am I explaining it in English? Pouring is, het giet, het gutst. And tornado, warning, waarschuwing, hier is hier. So, gutsende regen en tornado waarschuwing hier. Wij zeggen geen gutsende regen. We don't say pouring rain, not like I translated it. So, okay. Well, I've seen a few tornadoes when I was in Florida and when I was in Australia. So, do you actually, so when you get a warning, you have to, of course, stay inside. But are you really worried? Because I knew when I was in Florida, they actually said, no, never mind, it's okay. As long as I would stay inside. So, how bad is it? That's basically my question to you, Joyce. And of course, Tanya is always also Tanya saying, please be safe, Joyce. So yeah, so when this Monday I was eating my salad, specially made for me because I've got all these allergies, and this is when why I'm so good at speaking up. That's not only because of my inability to walk for 7 years, but it also had to do with my allergies, and that's when I started to do all this stuff on my phone, which I did. So. No, we get some here all the time, and most of the time they blow over. But we know if the alarms go off in the neighborhood, that's when we take shelter. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, yeah. So do you actually have like, what do you call it? Cellars underneath the house? Or is it like you have to hide under a table or in the bathtub? That stuff. I'm kind of curious now. So yeah, I can basically create all my thumbnails and do the editing on from videos, literally all on my phone. I've got the 12 Pro Max nowadays, the iPhone, and oh, you just get in the bathtub. Okay, so. So what do you pull over yourself when you're in a bathtub? I mean, it's not like you lift the bathtub and you put it on yourself. So that would be quite something, I suppose. But so I never thought about what do you do over your head. So, but I used to have an iPhone 4 and then I changed to the 5 and I stuck to the SE, which is still the iPhone 5, because I didn't want a big one until I was like, oh, but there's a great camera on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And so now I've got iPhone 12 Pro Max. I take a bunch of pillows with me, my phone, water, and a charger. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So how long does it last? About, such a warning. Still curious here. So, but yeah, it was funny. So by the time I left, I think I already posted that we were going to do the Instagram live at what time, because whenever doing those lives, and you can actually schedule them on Instagram, but when you schedule them on Instagram, you have to do it at least 1 hour ahead of time. Fortunately, when I do it in live StreamYard, it's just ahead of time, but at least 10 minutes prior to. But when you use StreamYard, especially for Facebook, you have to start within the 10 minutes of time that you said you were going to go live. So, so those are the things I wanted to talk about today, as in, okay, what happens when I prepare for a YouTube live on StreamYard, and what do I do when I have done one. And let's see, they can be late, go on for an hour, wow. But typically when the alarm goes off, it's only about 15 minutes or so. They can go through pretty quickly. Yeah, I get it, that it's not late, but it's long. Yeah. So yeah, an hour in the bathtub, that's quite something. And I wonder if, hi there, if at some point you're not going to be like relaxed, like, okay, I'll just pull the pillows over me, but that's of course not the purpose of the whole thing. The purpose of the whole thing is to brace and be safe. So, yeah. Well, I'm done talking about the how-to stuff. I'll be a good girl and say if people want to learn something when it comes to speaking out and voicing themselves, then there will be a link which is in the bio to be found on Instagram.